Hello and welcome to KV Estate Winery's Wine Wednesday. This is week 9 of our Wine Wednesday series. It's a question and answer series, and I'm Freddy Arredondo, winemaker at KV, and behind the camera is Carrie Arredondo, our marketing and events manager. What's our question this week, Carrie?
Our question this week comes from Jennifer over in Gig Harbor, Washington, and Jennifer wants to know about barrels. Thus, we are at our barrel cave today, here at our Quincy location, right next door to the Gorge Amphitheater. Jennifer's question is, if you could please explain a little bit about your barrels, where they come from, why you use the particular barrels that you use.
Great question. So we use barrels from different regions of the world. So we use American oak barrels, we use Hungarian barrels, and we use French oak barrels. Predominantly American and French, we use a little bit of Hungarian. The French and American barrels and the Hungarian, they all contribute slightly different characters to the wine. So the type of barrel, where the oak is coming from, and it's grown in different regions of France, just like in different regions of the US. Each one of those different regions contributes a little bit slightly different character to the wine that's aged within those barrels. Also, the toast level that the barrels are toasted to contribute different characters to the wine. So the barrels are coming from, again, Hungary, France, and the US, and from a various number of cooperages. A cooperage is the name of the place that actually builds the barrels. So quite a few places.
Wonderful. Can you explain a little bit more, Freddie, about what you mean by the term toast?
Yeah, that's a great question. So as far as toast, the barrels are all toasted at different levels. It can be light toast, medium plus, medium plus plus. And basically what that means is just that's the amount of fire, the amount of time under fire that is used to toast the inside of the barrel. And basically what's happening is when a barrel is raised, that's what it's called when you're building a barrel, it's called to raise a barrel. Barrels don't use any type of adhesive around the actual wood. It's just the pressure of the staves themselves held together with these hoops, these metal hoops that are pounded down. And then as the wood swells, it just creates a perfect seal on the barrel. So as those barrels are being lifted up, there's actually a fire inside made of oak, and the barrel is turned constantly over that fire, and that actually toasts the inside of the barrels. And again, depending on how long the barrel is left and turned over that fire, that determines the toast level at which the barrel ends up.
Fantastic. That's fascinating. I have one more question for you, Freddie. So here we have barrels that are a smaller size than the barrels that you have your hand on over here. Can you explain the difference between the barrels and why you would use one over another?
Definitely, yeah. So these are typical 225 liter standard barrels, standard Bordeaux barrels. These barrels hold 225 liters of wine, whereas these are 500 liter. These are called puncheons. And the only reason to use a puncheon rather than this type of a barrel is to decrease the surface area of exposure to the wood. So basically, by putting wine into this barrel, you have less surface area of wood coming in contact with wine, so you have less oak extraction. Whereas this, you have a lot more surface area of wood coming in contact with wine, so you get a lot more oak extraction and oak flavor from the barrel itself. Now, as far as aging capabilities and how they age wine, they're pretty similar because they're still considered small format barrels. So the amount of micro-oxygenation and oxygen infiltration through the actual pores of the wood is pretty similar in this barrel and the 500 liter puncheon. It's just really the surface area that we're looking at for using something like this as opposed to something like this.
Thank you, Freddie, for that explanation. And Jennifer, thank you so much for your question. If anyone has any questions for next week, please let us know in the comments, or you can private message us.
Thank you all. See you next week.
Have a great week.